Watching Anthony Edwards gave me flashbacks of MJ. Lord have mercy, did you see the show he put on?
Edwards gets it back and threw it down.
From rumors about being Michael Jordan's son to sweeping KD and Booker in the first round, Anthony Edwards is sending shockwaves throughout the whole league by showing us why he is not only the face of the Timberwolves, but the future of the whole NBA. We'll look at how he is already proving to be one of the best playoff risers in history, how he is on track to surpass Kevin Garnett, and if there is actually some truth to the MJ rumors. Up until last year, the Minnesota Timberwolves had been a historically bad team over the entire span of their 35 years in the association. Actually, bad is an understatement, as the Timberwolves rank dead last in career win percentage amongst all 30 active teams today, having won only 41%. And if we look at their worst stint as a team during the past 20 years, we quickly see just how bad this team has been. In 20 years, the Timberwolves just barely managed to be above the 500 mark 5 times, of which 3 were in the past 3 seasons. For this reason, getting to the postseason has almost been an impossible task, as the Timberwolves managed only 4 playoff appearances. But even then, it only led to more disappointment, with all playoffs ending right in the first round. Well, except for this year, but we will get to that topic later on. The obvious lack of management and overall bad coaching deeply rooted within the team led to all dreams of potential championships going up in flames. This weighed on no one more than on the one player who is considered the greatest this franchise has ever seen, Kevin Garnett. After being drafted 5th overall and straight out of high school in 1995 by Minnesota, Kevin Garnett worked his way up within the team until he was widely considered the face of the Timberwolves and earned himself the nickname the Big Ticket. The pinnacle of his success with the team came in 2003 when he won his first MVP and also carried his team to the conference finals. But as you guessed, this success was only short-lived, and given that it was only temporary, it ultimately led to KG's decision to leave the team in hopes of finding a better playoff position in Boston, starting with the 2007 season. But as much as KG has done for the Timberwolves, those days are over. With Kevin Garnett still being widely considered the all-time face of the Timberwolves, it comes to no surprise that over his 13 seasons with them, he rose to become their all-time leading scorer by quite a margin and with over 19,200 points in total. But this is about to change. Though not in the near future, since KG still has some distance to everyone else. But if we look at his points per game production in his first 4 seasons and compare them to Anthony Edwards, we quickly see who really has the upper hand in generating points for the Timberwolves. Whilst Ant-Man already put up all-star level production right off the bat, starting his rookie season with almost 20 points per game, KG's numbers tell a different story. Compared to Edwards, he was a rather late bloomer. Although he consistently improved each year, he only managed to surpass Edwards' rookie season numbers in his 4th year. Once we put them side by side, the edge that Edwards has on Garnett becomes even more obvious. So if Edwards stays with the team, which at least right now is not that unlikely, he is on perfect track to surpass Garnett as the leading scorer for the Timberwolves in actually only 5 years. Because this season, he accumulated a little over 2,000 points, and right now, he is about 9,000 points away from KG's record. Therefore, it is only a matter of 5 more seasons until Edwards will push KG to second place, given that his production stays the same. While we're on the topic of production, let's take a look at Edwards in the most crucial time of each season, the playoffs. As we've seen before, Edwards has made a playoff appearance 3 out of 4 years since his arrival to the league. And in these stints, Anthony Edwards already broke numerous records, especially for his franchise. These are the top 10 highest playoff performances by an individual player for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just take a guess at how often Ant-Man appears on this list. Now, would you be surprised to learn that out of these top 10, 7 already belong to the only 22-year-old Anthony Edwards? Interestingly enough, 4 of these 7 games were during the current 2024 playoffs. This further cements his case for already being the #1 face of the Timberwolves, and also puts him up for the debate for the future face of the NBA. There is no one else in the league today that comes even close to Ant-Man in regards to holding 7 out of the top 10 records for the highest playoff performances for their respective team. Seriously, there is no one, except for maybe Luka, who has 5 out of the Mavs' top 10 playoff games. But even he is still trailing Edwards by a lot. Ant-Man stands completely alone in this regard, and he has already accomplished this at only 22 years old, which is just insane. Even more mind-blowing is, however, his rise in production and efficiency in the playoffs. Whilst he already has impressive stats in this regard during the regular season, with 26 points per game and 57% true shooting, he somehow improves even more in the playoffs. Did I say improve? I meant he upgrades into the playoff clone of Michael Jordan. If MJ had been only 6'3" and had reached the playoffs by age 22. Seriously, if we compare the career playoff stats of both Ant-Man and MJ side by side, we see only fine margins, with Jordan leading in most categories but Edwards close behind. On the other hand, Edwards' efficiency is miles better than Jordan's, which manifests in their true shooting, where Ant-Man is a staggering 10 percentage points better than MJ. So do these numbers confirm what the eye test already lets us suspect? The patented mid-range fadeaway, the endless airtime before a posterizing dunk, and the trash talk all look pretty familiar. So surely we must be witnessing the new Michael Jordan, right? Short answer, no. Because in Mike's defense, the narrative quickly shifts when we don't use his career averages, but the stats from his playoff prime in 1990. At the prime age of 27, he destroyed every opponent that came his way, averaging over 36 points. So to be fair to MJ's legacy, and even though Edwards is at an age where Jordan never even went to the playoffs, the comparison to the greatest player of all time is still a bit of a reach. The only area where Edwards trumps even prime Michael Jordan is efficiency, but this doesn't make up for the gap in production. As far ahead as Jordan's prime is right now, Edwards, at this point in time, has about 5 years to catch up to him. If he will be able to achieve this is an answer to a question we will just have to wait for. Right now, it seems only fair to compare him to people his own age. If we look at young talents age 22 or younger who had at least one playoff game with 35-plus points, we see some interesting results. For example, there have been 15 players with just one of these playoff games. Amongst them are Hall of Famers like Dirk, Magic, Chris Paul, Russ, and actually also Michael Jordan. Other notable names on this list are Kareem, who had 4 of these games, and KD, LeBron, and Kobe, who all had 5 of these 35-plus point games at age 22 or younger. But the best 22-year-old playoff performers, even with a gap, are Luka Doncic, and you probably guessed it, Anthony Edwards, both with 7 35-plus point playoff games. Ant-Man has already cemented himself as one of the best young talents and playoff risers in the current NBA. And amongst the players in his age category, there is nothing that Edwards has left to prove. He is the main reason for the Timberwolves being able to break their 20-year dry streak of not winning a playoff series. And the way Ant-Man carried them to this achievement could not have been any better. Sweeping KD and Booker in 4 games now proves his worthiness to be right next to Luka, who we all know made Booker his son in the playoffs. So it's fitting to see Edwards and Luka right next to each other on this list of the best young playoff talents, and it's just a sight to see that the future of the NBA is already secured.